I'm going to teach a breathing exercise today. And this breathing exercise helps a lot with physiological, psychological, mental, and even meditation exercises. So very healthy type of breathing. It's very simple. But since we are in meditation, that is where the thought was, I will give you the reason why it helps in meditation. Okay? I'm not sure whether I've done this exercise with you guys before. But if you look at breathing, there are 4 components to your breath. Later on, you'll realize that there are much more than that when we go into advanced breathings. But these 4 components that we know of: inhalation, breath coming in; exhalation, breath going out. We don't realize that there is a pause between the two at 2 different points. So inhalation, pause, exhalation is the third one. Exhalation, pause, inhalation is the fourth one. So there are these 4 stages to a breath. So if I try to hold my breath at the end of an inhalation, I'll breathe in, I'll hold a breath, that will be the second one. I'll exhale, I'll hold a breath, that will be the fourth one. Inhale, number 1. Okay. So these are the 4 parts of the breath. As we advance, we realize that between the inhalation and the second inhalation retention, there is also a break. Okay. So I'm breathing in, I break and hold a breath, and then I go into a break and I breathe out. So there are many more components when you go into the real nitty-gritty, when you start going into very detailed aspects of the breathing. But it's important to understand only these 4. Now, when I'm inhaling, I'm inviting. When I'm exhaling, I'm giving. When I'm inhaling, I'm controlling. When I'm exhaling, I'm surrendering. When I'm inhaling, I invite thought processes. When I'm exhaling, I'm letting go of thought processes. This is the reason why in the vagus nerve breathing, or what we call the Kundalini breath, okay, or the 5 to 8. I like the way they say 5 to 8 because the frequency 5 to 8 hertz, okay, the resonance of that frequency is very, very powerful for spiritual experience. But anyway, 5 to 8 is also something they use. I prefer sometimes to do 4, 3, 8. What are these numbers? Let's go 5 to 8. 5 is inhalation. 2 is holding the breath. 8 is exhalation. Notice that I'm extending the exhalation all the time. And extending the exhalation makes me more surrendered, makes me more peaceful than extending the inhalation. Because when I extend the inhalation, it makes me a little more arrogant, makes me a little more controlling. So understand the effects that breathing has on your psyche, on your mind, on your makeup, on your emotions, and on your physical body. A person who has high blood pressure has got a much higher predisposition to anger than a person who's got low blood pressure, or a person who's normal blood pressure. And a person who's got low blood pressure has got a higher predisposition to being the right word would be passive aggressive. Because they got low blood pressure, they will remove their aggression in a different way. They will not explode and show anger. Which one you want to trust with, which one you want to handle, that's your choice. But I'm just giving you the situation and the facts. So knowing these things helps us to use our breath in a way where we can change our personalities. And you can turn a type A person, okay, the alpha male or whatever, the type A person, you can turn him into a type B person, him or her actually. just by changing the way the person breathes. Just by changing the breath and the way the person breathes. Which is amazing. Because by nature, and those who know me all my life will tell you that I was a very aggressive person. Very arrogant, very aggressive, very a plutocrat type of a person, was always showing off and stuff like that. Not that most of it is gone, but the breathing exercises that I do have helped me to change that character of mine. They say in the Alcoholics Anonymous, in the 12-step program, that we have character defects. And many times they say these character defects cannot go. But I have found that with the help of the breath, you can actually change those character defects. You can transform yourself. Because you cannot transform outside to in, but you can transform inside to out. This is where breath comes in very handy. So it is very important for us to take time out to breathe. I always tell people who sit in meditation that they focus a lot on meditation and many aspects of meditation to get the sitting pose, blah, blah, blah. What they forget to focus on is how to sit. I have done a 4-hour workshop in New York, in Poughkeepsie, in my studio, dealing only with how to sit, and people were amazed at how little they knew about how to sit for meditation. There is very little that we know about how to sit for meditation. We need to understand those techniques. There was an intervention there. Okay. We have to know how those techniques of meditation. We have to study them the right way. Sitting for meditation in itself is a science. Oh, I can sit. What is there about sitting? No, there's a lot. The knee and the hip has to be on the same line of horizontal. So if you're sitting in a chair, and I did a corporate class today with a chain of hotels. They wanted a demo class from me. I did it from 11 to 11:30. Sitting on a chair because they'll be sitting at their desk. The staff did it, So the knee, if your knee is lower than your hip when you sit on the chair, you want to put something under your feet. If the knee is higher, now when the knee is lower, you're hyperextending your lower back. When the knee is higher than your hip, you're making your lower back convex from behind. Then you want to put a pillow under your buttocks. And that in itself changes so much of the integrity of your posture for meditation. Then the shoulders have to be online. If anytime you look at yourself, and it's good when you are doing this online thing, you can see yourself. Some people decided to change. One shoulder will always come higher than the other. And there's nothing wrong with that. But understand this, that if your right shoulder, now this is left for me, but I'm sure you're seeing right, because it's a virtual change in the camera. If your right shoulder is coming up higher, that means the left side of your brain is working. People who are paying total attention to what I'm saying will have their right shoulder higher. But if your left shoulder is higher and I'm talking to you, it means you're not with me because your right brain is involved. Left shoulder is connected with the right brain, and right brain is visuospatial. That means you're dreaming somewhere else. And you think nobody knows what I'm doing, but your body is talking to me all the time when I care to listen. So sometimes I will go, which is your right hand? Which is your left hand? To know whether, but what I'm doing is I'm trying to change the positioning of your shoulders, and when you bring them back, they'll come back to normal sometimes without you realizing that I have done something totally different from what I was asking. Now I'm giving my secrets, teaching secrets. Okay? So now we can't always be this way because we have to exercise our brains accordingly, right or left, depending on the situation. But when we are sitting in meditation, we are balancing that. We're balancing that, and as soon as we balance our shoulders and we balance our hips, again, observe one thing. I'm going to use you, okay? Live yoga. Which is your left hand? Okay, put it back down. Okay, that's your left hand. Do you realize that you're sitting more on your left buttock than on your right one? See that? It's amazing, the human body. We create our own illnesses many times. We don't need a virus. And having said that to you, I'm no different. Even I could be doing it until somebody else pointed it out to me. Now, there is so much that you're telling me just by sitting there. And there's nothing wrong with that, because if your left buttock has been positioned harder than your right, that means your right brain is working. Now, when you made the move from your right shoulder to the left buttock, you went from paying attention to me to your what you call your mind thought. So you went somewhere and you started thinking. So I know the exact point when your thought process is changed from concentrating to what I'm saying to disappearing into some other realm. Okay? Or like in quantum physics, they'll talk about building different universes. You created a new universe. Okay? Having said that, please don't feel bad if I'm using you, okay? We all do that. There's nobody better or less. Why I'm saying this is because I'm coming now to eventually the breath. So, if one shoulder is higher than the other, your breathing pattern has changed. Connected with the thought. Okay? And if you want to make a reset, I'm not talking about the global reset that is taking place with the pandemic right now. If you want to make a reset in your physiology, you need to understand how to position your body first. And there is so much your body teaches you. You won't find this in books. Your whole body is like a universe full of information. Okay? And when a disease comes, the disease is saying something to you. The disease is saying, you have not been focusing evenly on my body. If I walk like this all my life, I'll definitely have hips which are higher and lower from each other. No matter what I do, I can't change that. So I've got to stop walking like this and I've got to start walking like this. Not too much, otherwise there'll be a dorsoventral fluctuation in my body. Having got that, the first thing to do when you're sitting for breathing is to make sure that your buttocks, your sit bones. See, remember the environments? I talk about animate and inanimate. The buttocks are muscles, they are animate. You don't want to ground anything that is inanimate. You want to ground anything that is inanimate. So you want to ground the sit bones because the bones are inanimate. They don't need to move. They don't need circulation at that point, in that frame of reference. So you want to pull out the glutes from both sides. Okay, make sure you're sitting on a level. Pull out the glutes from both sides. Some people can just do it like that, and that's perfectly okay. And make sure that you're sitting on the sit bones. Now, you want to lift up slightly and sit on the frontal sit bones evenly. More towards the root organ, the sexual organ, rather than towards the back. And that is a very good posture. Now, because when the evenness is there of you sitting on both the sit bones, then your spine has got a better chance of being upright. I won't say straight, because the spine is never straight. Upright in its normal state of curvature. Okay? Once you have got that into action, just roll the shoulder blades, bring the elbows in, place your hands, palms up on your thighs. Your palms have to be up. Yeah, okay. Dig the elbows in more, little more. When you bring the elbows in more, you'll be opening up the region of the collarbone. We divide the breath into three parts: diaphragm, thoracic, clavicular, collarbone. Okay? And I'll teach you the three breathing parts. Okay? So, to get the benefit, what we do is I'll divide it into three parts. Okay? So, I exhale completely. Blend into the inhalation. Remember, no breaks. 1/3 of the way, hold the breath. That's the diaphragmatic breathing part. Continue inhalation. 2/3 of the way, don't tighten your neck muscles, dear. Relax the neck muscles. Okay, 2/3 of the way, hold the breath. That is the thoracic breathing. Slightly exhale. Complete inhalation, hold the breath. That's the clavicular breathing. Now, without jerking, gently soften, and then exhale. Let the breath come in and go out as it likes. Now, while you are in this breathing pattern, take your focus onto your side ribs and feel the side ribs moving along with the breath. Not the whole body, only the side ribs. The side ribs have got what is called intercostal muscles. They go in opposite diagonals to each other. Okay? One for inhalation, the other for exhalation. So they have to open up a little. So if you take the sensitivity of your inhalation to that region of your side ribs, you'll be able to enjoy that inhalation, especially the inhalation, to its maximum. So let's do this again. Exhale completely. Keep the rib cage propped up when you exhale. Don't let the rib cage collapse. Blend into the inhalation. 1/3 of the way hold a breath. Continue inhalation. 2/3 of the way hold a breath. Slightly exhale. Complete inhalation. Hold a breath. If you are forcing your breath, that is coming from a preponderance of the ego. So avoid doing that. Exhale. Now there's a tendency when exhaling now to allow the rib cage to come down. As you exhale, in fact, take the rib cage higher. Open the chest more. Exhale completely. Start inhaling. 1/3 of the way hold a breath. Continue inhalation. Thoracic region now. 2/3 of the way hold a breath. Slightly exhale. Complete inhalation. Hold a breath. Let the breath come in and go out as relaxed. Now the yogi considers one full inhalation and one full exhalation as a unit by which he determines his lifespan or his longevity. We count our longevity based on time. 20 years, 60 years, 100 years, whatever. The yogi doesn't do that. The car, when you buy a car, you don't look at how many years old the car is as much as you look at how many miles it has run. In the same way, how many breaths are you taking? So when we do this division in 3 parts, we take much longer for one inhalation and one exhalation by dividing it this way. So we are creating longevity in our lives. We are also creating health. We are also creating more absorption of oxygen in our body because of the way we are breathing. And we are creating more relaxation in our body just by the manner in which we breathe. So let's do that for the last time now. Exhale completely. When exhaling, don't allow the rib cage to collapse. Start inhalation. Hold a breath. Continue inhalation. 2/3 of the way. Hold a breath. Slightly exhale. Complete inhalation now. Hold a breath. Now don't choke yourself, but stay there considerably. As long as you are comfortable, stay there. And then exhale and let the breath come in and go out as relaxed. Now I'll teach you an advanced version of this breathing. Okay? Advanced version of this breathing exercise. But always make sure that you do at least 4 or 5 rounds of this breathing before you go to what I'm going to teach you next. Okay? So, what will you do? Okay? You take a deep inhalation. Now, there is also the other version where you'll exhale, take a deep inhalation, exhale 1/3, then exhale 2/3, slight inhale, exhale the complete. But that's not what we're going today. We did the inhalation part today. Now, an advanced version of this is you'll take a deep inhalation, prop up the rib cage, exhale completely, keeping the rib cage up, exhale completely. Now, Slightly inhale, hold the breath to that point of comfort. Again, slightly inhale, hold the breath. Slightly inhale, hold the breath. Slightly inhale, hold the breath. Keep doing this till you come to the point of your sternum. Small, very small amounts of inhalation. Could be 10 times, could be 15 times, could be 5 times, depending on your capacity. When you reach that sternum region, slightly exhale, complete inhalation and hold the breath. And then exhale. And let the breath come in and go out as it likes. And I'll just run through the rest. There is a lot more to learn. I'll just run through the rest. So this is what happens. Take a deep inhalation now. Blend into the exhalation. Start exhaling 1/3 of the way, hold the breath. We're doing the opposite now. Continue exhalation 2/3 of the way, hold the breath. Slightly inhale, complete exhalation, hold the breath. Now if you allow your rib cage to collapse, you'll not be able to do it well. Inhale. Now this exercise only works well if you keep your rib cage propped up and don't allow it to collapse. So again, take a deep inhalation. Blend into the exhalation. 1/3 of the way, hold the breath. Keep the rib cage propped up. Drop the shoulders. Continue exhalation. 2/3 of the way, hold the breath. Slightly inhale. Complete exhalation, hold the breath. As long as your rib cage is expanded well, I wouldn't be able to do this and talk at the same time, so you have to excuse me on that. As long as your rib cage is propped up well, you should not feel difficulty in staying with empty lungs. And then when you can, inhale. And let the breath come in and go out as it likes. Now we are going to do the small versions, okay? The advanced version. So take a deep inhalation. Blend into the exhalation. Slightly exhale, hold the breath. Slightly exhale again, hold the breath. Exhale, hold the breath. Exhale, hold the breath. Exhale, hold the breath. Do that as many times as you want. When you reach 2/3 exhalation, slightly inhale. Complete exhalation, hold the breath. Inhale. And now let the breath come in and go out as it likes. Okay. Now the cherry on the pudding. This is not something you want to do overnight, but once you get the hang of the two breathing exercises, we are going to blend both of them together. And the advanced also will blend the advanced versions together, but don't go there right now. Don't even think about it. To thine own self be true. Be focused on the moment right now. So get ready. Just follow me. Take a deep inhalation to prop up the rib cage. Exhale completely. Blend into the inhalation. 1/3 of the way, hold the breath. Continue inhalation. 2/3 of the way, hold the breath. Slightly exhale. Complete inhalation, hold the breath. Now, blend into the exhalation. 1/3 of the way, hold the breath. Continue exhaling 2/3 of the way, hold the breath. Slightly inhale, complete exhalation, hold the breath. Take a deep inhalation and come back. Come back. A marvelous way of increasing your health, increasing your longevity, increasing your well-being. We have different types of food recipes, but nobody gives us any good type of breath recipes. So this is a breath recipe. So if you want to be a breatharian, this is how you start. Alternatively, you want to do sun gazing after sunset very slowly. There are other means by which you can do sun gazing in the midday sun. I won't talk about it right now because I don't want you to go blind or hurt yourself. But there are ways by which you can work on that by not looking directly at the sun, but reducing the heat of the sun and increasing the brightness of the sun slowly. You can actually start what they say eating from the sun, eating direct sunlight. So everything, all our energy comes from the sun anyways. But that is a theory, not really a proven fact. But I do that many times. So practice this type of breathing and wish you great success in your growth and in your spiritual journey. Practice to be like that great supreme yogi that lived 2000 years ago. Get ready for meditation now.